Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 15 of the Shadow Cold podcast. And wow, it's going to be quite an episode here as we, myself, Scott, and Walt here, are about to talk about one of the all-time great SummerSlams, 1998. Oh, the memories the show brought back when I watched it in parts yesterday, whether I was at work or at home. Oh, so many memories.
You're what, 4? You were what, 4?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was 4. This was around the time I started
This was, as I said last week, this pay-per-view has a little bit of sentimental value because it was after I got discharged from the military, I was just depressed because my whole life was planned had to change. I came home that night, and the first thing I did was I didn't even go take a shower or nothing. I gave my mom a quick hug and walked into the living room and watched SummerSlam.
Mm-hmm. I actually went to the SummerSlam since it was MSG in New York City, not too far away from where I'm from. So I got to go there with a couple of friends of mine and my girlfriend at the time. And oh my God, did I frickin' hate AC/DC's Highway to Hell after this frickin' show because they played it after every goddamn match live in the arena while there was shit going on backstage. Couldn't stand it.
Network version was great for you because you have no idea this was the theme song to the
pay-per-view. They cut that all out. Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, yeah. But you're right. The weeks leading up to it, hell.
James is watching from We Are Pro Wrestling. Hello, James.
What's up, buddy?
Yeah, absolutely. Oh my God, that song just constantly playing it. I couldn't listen to that song for another 15 years after that show was over. Ugh,
so I was saying it was probably rather refreshing to have it like nowhere to be found on the network version.
Yeah, and I'll say this. Oh, I hate the network versions of some of these pay-per-views where they take songs out. WWE, you have money. Buy some rights to the songs just so you could have them on the network, for fuck's sake.
Yeah.
Yep.
Hey, pal, can't do that, pal.
Hey, pal. We got an overhead to worry about, pal.
That's right, yeah.
Bro. You put the song in, everyone identifies it, and they're going to watch. Whether they're wrestling fans or not, bro. It's as simple as that.
I don't give a flying fuck what kind of music you got out there. The shit you should be playing. No one gives a shit about that fucking shit.
Apparently you don't know how to make money there, Mr. fucking Russo, you fuck. I'm not going to spend my money on just so I can keep a fucking song, dumb son of a bitch.
Well then, with all that said and done, we are now going to talk about the statistics. First, the actual numbers of SummerSlam 1998. So, SummerSlam 1998 took place August 30th, 1994 from the classic Madison Square Garden in New York City, with an overall attendance of 19,066, a sellout with 15,274 paid, live gate of $764,165, merchandise sales of $209,000, with pay-per-view buys $655,000. Compared to SummerSlam 1997, pretty much everything was up from 1997 except for attendance. 97 did have a higher attendance figure, but other than that, business-wise, SummerSlam smoked 1997, but compared to the rest of the pay-per-views of 1998, SummerSlam was the third highest attended pay-per-view. Unforgiven was first. It was the second highest in live gate. WrestleMania 14 was first. Was second highest in merchandise sales. WrestleMania 14 was first. And pay-per-view buys, second highest, with WrestleMania 14 being first. So, also James just brought up, MSG Theater attendance was 2,522 with 1,816 paid and $32,688 live gate in the theater.
James coming at us with the statistics through the chat. Thank you, James. And hello, Sean Henderson out there watching us. Good to see you, bud. Thanks for stopping by.
Yeah, wasn't this the most bought SummerSlam ever?
I believe so, yes.
Yeah.
It definitely was up there. I mean, this is we're right in the middle of the Monday Night Wars, the Attitude Era. Everything that's going on in the business is wonderful right now. Doesn't matter what you're throwing out there on television or pay-per-view. Everyone's watching. Everyone's buying it. Everyone's getting into it. Wrestling was cool at the time. And you had a lot of major players on the show that would go on to become Hall of Famers. You had a lot of new faces coming on board to the company. Every match is different. Every match has a different feel to it. And the crowd is super hot throughout the entire show, no matter what's going on. So printing out money for WWF, WCW, and ECW in some respect, even though kind of ECW was starting to be on their decline, still they were getting more exposure and more talent was starting to be seen so they could move up to the bigger companies.
Absolutely.
Oh, and hello to Arthur Jones who's watching us out there on chat. Hello, sir.
How's it going? And keep this in mind to the people that are watching. 7 viewers. I think this is the most we've had in a little while. Reminder to those who are watching in the chat, send in questions throughout the comments, the chat, all throughout the show, and we will get to them after the review is over. But now that I got the numbers, it's time for everyone's favorite segment of the show, Scott's Foo. What kind of food do we have on this night?
All right, friends, for SummerSlam 1998 from Madison Square Garden, we have 4 title matches, 1 chest protector, 1 destroyed hearse, ICP, whoop whoop, whatever the fuck that means. One guy who knocked out Robert Downey Jr. We have a haircut. We have marital abuse. We have spanking. We have blood. We have ECW chants. We have live entrance music. And we have exclusive home video footage. We also have 1 spine buster, 1 Irish whip with authority, 1 exploder suplex, 1 leg drop with authority, 1 Texas cloverleaf, 1 assisted sky high, 1 butterfly suplex, 1 running power bomb, 1 money shot on a zebra. Take that any way you want. 1 quadruple clothesline, 2 double choke slams, 1 Fink degenerate, 1 tornado DDT, 2 sleepers, 1 figure 4, 1 Bronco Buster, 1 X Factor, 1 TKO, 1 plancha, 1 top rope Hurricane Rana, 1 downward spiral, 1 sharpshooter, 1 ankle lock, 1 spike pile driver, 1 rock bottom, 1 pedigree, 1 ninth wonder low blow, 1 out cold stone cold, we'll get to that, 2 choke slams, 1 leg drop from the top to the announce table, not through it, to it, 1 Thez press, 1 stunner, respect. And for the foo, we have porn star foo, oddity foo, sneaker foo, guitar foo, intergender foo, caged foo, no holds barred foo, metal pan foo, metal bowl foo, dumpster foo, table foo, chair foo, belt foo, ladder foo, powder foo, Lone Star foo, crowd foo, and Spanish announce table foo.
Quite a lot of foo on this night. Probably the most foo we've had in a little while.
A whole lot of foo going on.
Oh,
I can't wait till we talk about the exclusive footage too.
Yeah.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
You said there was 2 choke slams. You said
in the Austin Undertaker match, 1 outside inside choke slam
and 1 normal choke slam
match.
Oh, okay. I thought we were talking about choke slams altogether throughout the night.
No. Because I'm not counting the 2 double choke slams because that's a whole different thing. That's a whole different spot.
Yep.
Right.
Don't worry, I know what I'm doing.
I know you know what you're doing. Okay.
This is not other shows where people want to tell other people how stuff is when it's not.
It's just my job as a broadcast journalist. Just to
shut the fuck up, Bobby. That's what Gorilla always wanted to say. Will you stop it? Well, shut the fuck up, Bobby.
Will you stop is the PG shut the fuck up.
Exactly. Yes.
Jeez. Mm-hmm. Anyways, now that we're off to a laughing start.
Oh, you know what? Arthur Jones, thank you. He picked one out that I missed. there was a people's elbow on the ladder. I did miss that. So thank you for catching it.
Yeah. Whew. And by the way, Sean, what is VHS?
Yeah, what's VHS?
Yeah.
A trunk full of them over there.
I used to have a shit ton of them. Now they're all gone. Or they're in the basement downstairs. But
I have no way in hell of watching any of them. I just can't part with them.
yeah.
It's a ton of like old RF video shit interviews and just a bunch of old shit I just can't bear to part with. So, thank you, Arthur. Mm-hmm.
But anyways, back on track. So we have 8 matches on the main card, 3 Sunday Night Heat matches. We'll quickly go through the results of the Sunday Night Heat matches. So we had Too Much, Brian Christopher and Scott Taylor versus LOD 2000, in which Too Much would win. Gangrel defeating Dustin Runnels, and DOA defeating Bradshaw and Vader. Very weird tag team right there. And I want to assume that this was around the time when Vader was on his way out of the company. I believe he was gone like a month or 2 after this.
Actually, didn't Bradshaw get fed up with Vader and his shit after this match? And that's when they had the final match at the next pay-per-view, and that's when Vader left. He said, I said something about, I didn't come to feed that fat bastard. I came to fight him.
Jeez.
Something like that. I don't know.
But anyways, we have 8 main matches. Let's get to it. So we kick things off with the first of 4 championship matches of the night for the WWF European Championship. Champion D'Lo Brown, residing in Helsinki, Finland, versus...
Al Snow did the European gimmick better, though.
Yes, he did. Oh, yes, he did.
It was so fun.
Every entrance he would do, he would don the attire associated with that country. Remember we did Transylvania?
Yes, but Greece was still my favorite because it wasn't Greece. He was just like a Tabor. And William Regal freaking out over the whole thing. Yes. Greece is supposed to be a wonderful place of mythological wonder and culture.
Transylvania
what
is not a real country. It's Romania. What is he doing?
He's another head.
I think he's being a jackass. A total jackass.
That's Regal doing Terry Funk. Me doing Regal doing Terry Funk. An impression inside of an impression. Mind blown? I'm sure. Moving on.
And James just said he was also from Hong Kong.
Yes. Yes, he was. Yep. Hong Kong, Jersey.
Oh, Lord.
And with that, folks, we are already off par.
Yes, we are. So, D'Lo Brown...
We just jumped 2-3 years ahead.
Sorry.
So, first match, WWF European title match, champion D'Lo Brown, residing in Helsinki, Finland, versus Val Venus, with probably the quote of the night, the classic Val shtick. So, you know something, the Big Valboski has arrived at the Big Apple. I came, I saw, and I came again.
I love this. I love how they put the camera on a whole bunch of women getting their reaction.
Yes, they did.
I know, and it was
looked underage. They all looked underage. Every girl they showed, for fuck's sake. Jesus. Oh, Jerry Lawler working the camera? What the hell?
The fuck?
But...
Good match.
Yeah,
good opening match.
Really good opening match. Really, really good. And they kept hyping up the chest protector that D'Lo had for a while.
They got that over.
Mm-hmm. This is what I liked, though. These were 2 guys newer to the company. It's time, and that was the direction they were heading. Let's get these guys in there, get them on the main stage, get them over, and let them show what they can do. And this match is a good highlight of that. A good example.
Oh yeah, they get all their shit in this match too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and it's funny, this was actually the 3rd longest match of the show, which is pretty interesting. It went over 15 minutes, and I'll be honest, I think it was perfect for this match, because these 2 were just beating each other up over the belt, and not to mention, 2 very underrated wrestlers, if you ask me. Val Venus, Sean Morley in general, really solid mechanic in the ring, and D'Lo Brown, he had so much potential to be something special. had they booked him better over the next couple of years. But in the end, the finish, I'd say a very questionable finish, to say the very least. So you have Val take the chest protector off of D'Lo and puts it on himself, and the referee's trying to tell him, get it off, and Val goes to the top rope, and the referee makes him slip and hit his nutsack on the damn ropes. I'm like, when has a referee ever done that? Do that to somebody, and so it all just kerfuffled from that point on.
That was my one downside of the match. I didn't care for the finish.
Me neither.
Yeah, the finish was
you understood why, the business behind it. They didn't want to drop the belt.
And they didn't want Val to
be below. All right, do a DQ. But in the opening match, come on.
Yeah.
It's not the right thing. You could have started with the 8-man tag. It would have been fine. And then do this match.
Yeah.
But,
Or just make it a double count out or something like that. You know?
Something, and have them keep fighting it out throughout the arena or something to kind of keep the feud going.
I do remember this match is before. This is actually 4 months before I got in the business. And me and Walt hadn't even met yet, by the way. But this is around the time when spots were getting kind of ridiculous, because they do one spot in this match where it is absolute ridiculous. It is send off, tackle, drop down, step over, send off, reverse send off again. It's just so much continuity so much convoluted continuity to it that it's like you have to be, the great Kreskin to remember what the hell you're going to do next. It was getting a little crazy at this point.
It reminded me of training drills. That's what they have us do.
Exactly. Every indie match would start to copy this format, hence the 7 deadly steps.
The 7 deadly steps.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, in the end, D'Lo Brown defeats Val Venus by disqualification after Val attacked the ref, after the ref attacked Val by making him slip off the ropes, and then afterwards, Val beats the crap out of the ref and gives the money shot on the zebra.
And the shot on there you go. That's it.
So there you go. So yeah, it's like, in hindsight, you can understand why they wanted to do some kind of finish like this so that D'Lo didn't have to drop the belt and didn't have Val look weak. But still, the way it was executed was very subpar. Yeah, like Scott said, it could have been a double count out where they'd be fighting all over the place, and it would have been better than this.
Mm-hmm.
I was very confused as to whether that was healer. I had a few conflicts with the show overall over babyface versus heel type stuff. I always portrayed Val Venus as a bit of a heel when he first came around. So it was kind of weird for me to have these guys. But then he was obviously the babyface in the match. So
Yeah.
But he didn't really act it either. He beat the ref up. Also fighting over the chest.
Bro, it doesn't matter, bro. You're a porn star. You're over anyway. You can do whatever you want. You'd be fine. Beat up the referee. No one will care, bro.
There's no more heels or there's no more good guys and bad guys anymore.
My good sir, the concept of a heel and a babyface is gone. We cannot have that. Can I have the chicken chow mein, please? Extra chicken.
And James, shades of gray, bro. That's true. However, I will before we move on to the next match, I do gotta bring up some contradiction. All of us remember the classic Cure for the Common Show promo in December of '97 that quote-unquote launched the Attitude Era, even though in my opinion it started way before, but you get the point. Where he said, tired of the simplistic formula of good guys versus bad guys. It's like, yeah, that might be partially true, but it's also bullshit, because all throughout the Attitude Era, you still had faces and heels being, like, Post-it notes on every feud in the Attitude Era. Yeah, it's like, yeah, the characters were murky and had certain qualities that made them bad or made them good, but as far as who got what glory and who got what punishment, it was clear-cut and obvious. And people loved The Rock when he was babyface and hated Triple H when he was the heel. What a concept!
This is the creation of the term tweener, because tweener applies to character, does not apply to a match, because in a match, there's only one of two things you can do: get over or get heat. That's it.
Yep.
There's nothing in between that. So if you get over, you're a babyface. You get heat, you're a heel. That's it. Tweener was based on the character only.
D'Lo over time though eventually there was really like no time where D'Lo eventually there was no turning point for D'Lo becoming a babyface. He just slowly morphed into one. He was a heel here, obviously, but I think it's when the Nation dissolved. It was more about The Rock, when The Rock did his own thing. I think D'Lo just started slowly getting over as a babyface on his own.
Yeah,
and it was that work.
I would
say it was that work ethic.
Yeah, I would say
got him over too.
I would say more after the tag team with him and Mark Henry dissolved, like about a year later when they split up. I'd say that'd be more likely. Because from what I remember, after the Nation dissolved, when he and Mark Henry were teaming, they were still heels for a while.
Yeah,
So.
once you got into that Mark Henry China thing, and D'Lo kind of became the comic relief of that scenario, like when he was the driver for the date.
That's when you started to see it.
That's when you started to see, like, okay, this guy's he's cool.
He's funny. He's got in-ring ability. He can talk. He's got
and he was
some
playing
range.
up. He was playing it up. So yeah,
I'll never forget that episode of Raw. That was a classic episode. The 2 weeks before Rock Bottom, But in the end, my little tangent is done. Moving on to the next match. Oh God, do we really want to talk about this?
Match of the night.
Up next,
this is the match.
Up next, we have a 4-on-3 handicap match. The Oddities, featuring Giant Silva, Golga, and Kurgan, versus all 4 members of Kai En Tai: Dick Togo, Mins Tao, Sho Funaki, and Taka Michinoku with Yamaguchi-san. And forgot to mention, you had Luna and ICP with the Oddities in their corner.
Mm-hmm. There were technically 5 members of Kai En Tai and Michinoku Pro, but Shiru, a.k.a. Kaz Hayashi, went to WCW.
Yep.
And the other 4, the rest of them all went to WWF.
Yep.
I'm not going to lie, I do not hate this match. I actually, for what they had to work with, they made the best of the situation, in my opinion. Let's be honest. Yeah. I mean, let's be honest here, though. The Oddities were over in the sense because they had ICP. You wouldn't know it because WWF once again took the fucking entrance out because they don't want to pay for the rights to the ICP song. The Oddities entrance and their post-match celebration, the crowd, every time the crowd went nuts.
Oh, yeah.
The crowd popped hard for it. Yeah, I mean, then the bell rang. Nobody gave a shit anymore.
Yeah.
But then the bell rang and the match was over, and then the party started back up again. But the Oddities were essentially quite over, mainly because of the inclusion of the Insane Clown Posse. Because, all right, yay, ICP, Juggalos, woo.
And Kurgan starts acting kind of goofy. He's dancing around. Golga's wearing the Cartman T-shirt and carrying the big Cartman to the ring. And the Giant Silva, whatever. It is what it is. And, so it just became a fun group. Remember also Sable was kind of buddying up with the Oddities, too. So that helped get them over, too.
Yeah, but also in this match, they make the best of it. I mean, let's be honest. Kurgan is relatively limited. Giant Silva is extremely limited. He's the one who could do the least out of the group. I mean, the guy barely had any training when he was in there at that time. And we got Golga, aka Earthquake. That's John Tenta under the mask. So John's the veteran in this match. All right, and of course, then you got Kai En Tai, who were all junior heavyweights, do a lot of high flying maneuvers. They make the best of everything they can. I mean, when they have Giant Silva in the ring, they do. That's the one cool thing is you see traditional. If you watch Michinoku Pro, they're doing traditional Kai En Tai spots.
Right.
That's one thing with Kai En Tai, which by the way, in Michinoku Pro, it's Kai En Tai DX.
That's right. Mm-hmm.
Yes, it's Kai En Tai DX. Of course, they had to take it off.
Yeah.
When they came over. Yeah. But the one thing about Kai En Tai is they were a collective unit. There was lots of triple and quadruple, and when there were 5 quintuple tag team spots, and they incorporated a bunch of them in this match. Like I said, they did the best they could. The only time we actually see them doing actual work is when they got Golden in the ring.
He's the only one that can adapt.
Yeah,
the only one who can adapt to a veteran. The other 2 guys are kind of, I wouldn't say they're lost. You just couldn't do much with them. I mean, Silva's doing straightforward, very basic Andre the Giant spots. Like real basic Andre.
Yeah.
Spots.
The corner in the spot. Yeah, this corner spot thing. Yep.
Yeah.
And incidentally, in the Fu explanation earlier, Robert Malay, who is Kurgan, he's the guy who knocked out Robert Downey Jr.
Knocked out Robert Downey Jr.
Sherlock Holmes.
That is correct. Yeah. Robert Robert Malay had a better run as an actor as he did a wrestler.
Yeah.
He's a really nice
bunch of movies. Got a bunch of movies.
I hear
He's in
great.
Deadpool. He was in 300.
Yep.
Yeah. Sherlock Holmes. Yeah.
Yep. And I hear he's a great guy to begin with too. Everyone
I've heard that
speaks
too.
very
Really nice
highly
guy.
of him. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
French Canadian.
Yeah. And like I said, they make Yamaguchi-san is freaking the comedy in this match is actually the comedy spots are pretty fun too. And Yamaguchi-san is in full force Bobby Heenan mode. He's working his ass off to get the match over.
Yep. The shoe. The sneaker foo.
Yeah.
That's a pretty fun spot. And then Luna comes in and kicks his ass.
Beats the hell out of him and slams his ass. Yeah.
I can't remember who it was. Gangrel was telling a story. I love hearing Luna shoot stories about her. Remember when Luna was working with Sable?
Yep.
And Goldust. I guess like Mero kept cutting in on the calling the match and stuff. Luna was handling all the girl stuff because she's a veteran. She knows her shit. And Mark kept cutting in saying like, well, actually, I'd rather do this. And finally, Luna goes, Mark, if you don't shut the fuck up, I'm gonna bite a chunk off your fucking face. And Gangrel's just like this is second nature to him. Like he goes, yeah, Luna's losing her shit, so it's fine.
Yeah, dude, back off.
Yeah.
And here's the background. Fuck you.
Rest in peace, Luna.
Yeah.
Oh, the thing is, she's according to everyone we know who's met her, she was like the loveliest lady ever.
Yeah, she was really nice. Just don't. Yeah, when it's business, it's business. Outside,
It's business. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. Don't make her mad. I'll bite a fucking chunk out of your face.
But in the end, the Oddities beat Kai and Tai in 10 minutes, 10 seconds.
That's the big problem with the matches. It's
Too long. Yeah.
Yeah,
too
it
long.
should have been
If this
at
was-
least
if this
5
was-
at the most.
This was 6 minutes opener.
no
Done.
problem.
Good
but
business.
10
Then do the
minutes?
European title match. Yeah, would have been better.
Yeah. Well, they're doing like hope. They're doing like a bunch of hope spots with Guy and Ty, and Kurgan like trying to clap the crowd on, and Golga selling and all that. It wasn't terrible. It definitely wasn't a great match, but considering everything involved, they made the best of what they could. That's my opinion of it. It was entertaining. It was my father's favorite match on the card.
Yeah, there is that.
But he likes his sports entertainment. What can I say?
Moving on to the next match, a hair versus hair match. Jeff Jarrett with Southern Justice in his corner versus X-Pac with Howard Finkel. And people may wonder, why in the hell is Howard Finkel in the corner of X-Pac? Well, on Sunday Night Heat, Jeff Jarrett and Southern Justice came in, attacked Finkel, and shaved off what was left of his hair, proceeding for Finkel to join up with X-Pac. And before the match, and X-Pac's doing his shtick, asked Finkel, "We got 2 words for you. Suck it!" That was awesome.
I would ask you to suck it.
Rest in peace, Howard Finkel. But we get the match, and this is another really good match. So far we got, for 2 out of the first 3 matches, really fun ones. And this one, Waltman and Jarrett, no matter in what situation, they seem to work together very well. I can remember they had a good quarterfinal match in the King of the Ring 4 years prior. And I bet these two worked a lot in WCW before they both returned to WWF. So, yeah, you kind of expect with 2 really good workers in Jarrett and Waltman to go out there and have a really good match, and this was a really good match. And at one point...
Yeah, it did.
And I remember, I think at the beginning of the match, he had the referee tell Dennis Knight and Mark Canterbury, "Go to the back," and Finkel got to stay at ringside.
That's the one thing about the show. One thing I like is the Gates of Hell background. That was the one thing I love about the Garden shows.
Yeah,
because you don't get this anymore either.
Yeah,
the hard camera where the entrance is.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
You don't get that anymore.
Yeah.
But the one thing though, the one downside with that fucking gate is you can see everybody in the gorilla position, all like walking back and forth and running all.
Yeah.
In the middle of the matches too. You think like somebody's gonna run in? Oh no, it's just somebody going to help in something. Or, it's Bruce Pritchard.
Yeah, getting back to the match, Jarrett has that style where he can pretty much just work with anybody.
Right.
It's just very basic. There's not a lot of flashy stuff that Jarrett does. That comes from basic, good Memphis style psychology. Work, work easy, listen to the crowd. Waltman knows how to bump and sell and do all that stuff. And when you're Sean Waltman, you see Sean Waltman as a baby face. He is all, come on, baby, fire it up. So strong baby face. And Jarrett's a nice, good, slow, methodical heel when he needs to be. So, perfect chemistry between these two guys, and
solid
everything
match.
they do make each other look good. So,
solid match. Probably
going to be good.
Probably one of my favorite matches involving both of them too.
This would have been a GWF main event 8 years earlier.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Jeff, simply irresistible. Jeff Jarrett against the Lightning Kid.
Yes. Although Lightning Kid would have been a heel.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it would have been totally reversed.
Oh man.
Yeah.
But in the end, X-Pac defeats Jeff Jarrett in 11 minutes, 11 seconds. 2 matches in a row where the time limits match the numbers match. You had 10-10 in the previous match, 11-11 here. Weird, isn't it?
Very weird.
But then afterwards...
It's the highway to heaven.
But then afterwards, Southern Justice come back to try and help Jarrett get out of there, but then out comes the Outlaws with chairs and the Headbangers to come out and restrain Jarrett, and then the hair cutting begins, and oh my god, Jeff Jarrett's selling it like a madman. I got hit with the guitar! That's bullshit, ref! Keona!
And the Clippers die about 2 minutes in, so
they have to get the scissors.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And they cut Jeff Jarrett's hair, and it never grows back again.
Well,
he goes to the 1990s. He goes 1988 Sting later on.
Yeah, in 2008 in TNA. Yeah, he did try to grow his hair out again, and then cut in the traditional fashion again in 2011. So, but another really good match. Now we move on to the final match of the first half of the show, and that is a mixed tag team match: Jacqueline and Mark Marrow versus Sable and a mystery partner. You have Jacqueline and Marrow come out first in their boxing gear. Then out comes Sable. Crowd goes nuts because why the hell not? And then out comes her partner, and it's Edge. And I forgot to mention, you saw Edge in the crowd during the D'Lo Venus match.
That's right.
And then he gets in action coming from the crowd to come into the ring and joins up with Sable, and we get this mixed tag. And...
We saw prior to this. We saw Edge wrestle maybe a couple of times.
Very limited.
He had the debut match with one of the Bariquas. I think it was Miguel
Perez Jr. And he landed on his head.
Landed on his head.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And
that was not a good way to debut.
No, and then they took him off TV for about a month. Yeah, we didn't see him. It was very, very, very sporadic. They had him sit in the audience. He became Doink the Clown.
That was the thing, it was safer to just have him stand there and get more, more mystery about him. Just stand there and just kind of look around and stuff. And those promos and vignettes they did, which Copeland has said many times, I had no freaking clue what I was supposed to be doing. We didn't know.
Just run to the camera screaming.
And grab a homeless guy and yell in his face. What? Why? What for? Why?
Yeah.
It didn't make any sense. Incidentally, Sable, what a cunt. Because you see the way she walks to the ring. This is kind of like what Walter was saying with that backdrop. You could see the entranceway, the way it's set up. Also, the fans are really close to the wrestlers coming out. And when you see her coming through the crowd there, they all have their hands out, and she's all like, as she's walking through. If that had been Sunny, she would have been like hands up, slowly going through there and owned it. Sable was so apprehensive. It's like, and you see now what we all were blind to back then because she was so hot that Sable was the shits and couldn't fucking work a lick.
That was the thing. I'm like, as soon as that was the big problem with this match too. Sable spent too much time in the ring. All right, it's like God tag Adam back in.
It's just Mark trying to make his wife look good.
God bless Miss Jacqueline. God bless Miss Jackie for trying her best with getting this girl to work.
Yes.
Sable was. This way, I get pissed off and fired up when people talk shit about Charlotte. Okay.
Oh yeah, it's ridiculous.
Yeah. Don't fucking say Charlotte can't work when you watch shit like this going on.
You have no fucking clue what work means then.
Yeah. Fuck you people and your nepotism bullshit, okay? Yeah, and I want to. You know what? You fucks. I hope Charlotte comes back with Tessa Blanchard and reforms a 4 Horseman stable and does it before the AEW can do it. So it looks stupid when they try to do it with Cody and Shawn Spears and FTR.
Yep, that'd be cool.
Oh boy.
Yeah, and I hope Ric Flair makes a comment on it too. Anyways,
that would be funny. Well, apart from the Sable stuff, I thought for a mixed tag, this was a pretty solid mixed tag. I mean, then again, it seemed like the only time you could get anything out of Sable in the ring was in a mixed tag environment. You go back to WrestleMania earlier in the year, she's teaming up with Mero against Goldust and Luna, and it was a really good match. Sable was able to...
punches ever.
But yeah, Sable couldn't throw punches, but still she could hit a TKO pretty well and do a power.
And Walter, I'm sorry, Walt, but Sable's punches are worse than Shane McMahon's.
They are. I agree.
I know you think Shane throws the worst punches. No, Sable does.
No, Sables are terrible, Miss Jackie did the best she could to work with. People. And she had, again, that Memphis style of education and pedigree of trying to be a proper heel.
From WCW at this point, being Sullivan's heavy, so she was beating the fuck out of guys at ringside. As Sullivan always said, "Oh, it's great having Jackie out there. She could yell or scream her head off, and she get all the heat for being stiff."
But and also note, I think this would start Edge's run going forward, because he was on the next pay-per-view against Owen in a really good match.
He lost.
Even though he lost. But if we ever talk about Breakdown 98, we'll definitely hopefully do that at some point, because that'd be a fun show to talk about. But Edge and Sable pick up the win over Jacqueline and Mark Mero in 8 minutes, 26 seconds, and then Edge runs back up into the crowd, not to be seen again for the rest of the night. But yes, quick about Sable. Yeah, I could see why she married Brock Lesnar, because they both hate the business. There you go. She may still look hot. She may still look hot in the early 50s now, but fuck her attitude. Good Lord.
And God bless Mark Merrill for getting through that.
I know.
Or something like that.
And it's partially her fault why Mero's career eventually just burst into fucking flames.
He made it out okay, though. He's a happy guy, and he does a lot of good things now too. So
that's true.
And he was my dad's
favorite.
That
an AK-47 and just shot Mero's career. She could have killed it even deader. That's a Jim Cornette quote.
And Mark Mero is a favorite of my father's. Although at this time, my father's like, why are they not making him Johnny B. Bad? He had presidents in his ass. This is not
Johnny B. Bad.
Little did he know they couldn't do it.
Yes.
But yeah, just imagine if Johnny B. Bad was in WWF. Good Lord, he would have been a top star. Top heel, probably.
Vince would have made him a star, yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah. Vince would have polished that gimmick up
and made it bigger and better. And I wouldn't be shocked if he would have made Johnny B. Bad his world champion at one point.
Johnny Bad probably would have surpassed The Rock. Johnny B. Bad probably would have taken that spot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Johnny B. Bad and Shawn Michaels are wrestling.
Oh God!
That would have been awesome. Holy shit!
Johnny Bad and Steve Austin. Because we know Mark and Steve can work a good match, but the Johnny Bad getting under the fence skin and everybody getting behind Stone Cold. Oh God!
Oh.
I agree with James's comment here. Brock's the smartest man in the business right now. Make the most money and work not many times a year. And you are correct.
Exactly. That's true.
I don't spite him at all.
That is the essence of pro wrestling right there. So, yeah, Brock likes the wrestling business. He loves the money, and that's what it's all about.
And here's the thing about here's my statement that I make about Brock Lesnar that pisses the internet fans off, makes their blood boil, but it's 100% fucking true. Brock Lesnar is the modern day Bruiser Brody. He is. Yep. Same fucking mentality. Same mindset. It's all about the money. It's all about getting the work in and making the most with doing the least. And that's what and working on his own terms. That's what Bruiser Brody.
He doesn't kowtow to Vince. He doesn't kowtow to anybody. Well, he tells him what he wants, and he gets it. Why? Because he delivers. Nobody else.
Just like Frank Goodrich. Just like Frank Goodrich.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Is what it is. Yeah.
He's got a
shitty attitude, and he's not a people person. But in the wrestling business, you can make friends, you can make money. He chose the latter.
Anyways, moving on, because I don't want to go into a Brock Lesnar rant, because we'll be here all fucking night.
Yeah.
But anyways.
It's over and done. I just lay it down.
Yeah.
He's the modern day Bruiser Brody. It's done.
But anyways, moving on to the second half, and holy shit, do we kick off the second half with a bang! We get the Lions Den match. Owen Hart with Dan the Beast Severn versus Ken Shamrock. And I love the promo package they played before this match. So intense with all the footage of over the past several months after WrestleMania. These two just beating the fuck out of each other in every which way, shape, or form. And we get to this match. Now, the Lions Den match concept in general, I wish they would have done it more often after 1999. The closest we came to it was a couple months ago on NXT with Timothy Thatcher and Matt Riddle, and was that bullpen match or whatever the fuck was called.
I forgot what it was called. Yeah.
I forgot what it was called, but that was the closest we came to, and that was great. We need more. Great. I'd love to see more of this kind of a match with like more of the stiffer guys. Like a Samoa Joe would be perfect for a Lions Den match, if you ask me.
Well, with what they got going on with the Underground now, they might eventually come to that. If I were Vince at this time right now, I'd fucking pull Shamrock from TNA and get him in there. Shamrock will do it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he will.
Shamrock clear he wants to be part of it. I do it because I think Ken will be a great addition to that. I'd love to see Ken. Ken, even though he's older, is still in really good shape, and he has that nasty.
Oh yeah.
Pissed off.
He could have his own faction. He could bring Timothy Thatcher up there. He could bring. Like fucking Kyle Riley, Bobby Fish, bring those guys in there.
And heck, if you want to turn Matt Riddle heel, he could join up with them if he wanted to.
Yep. Yeah,
and he's got that angry, salty veteran hooker mentality now.
Right.
When I say hooker, I don't mean
not
hooker,
that kind of hooker. You people out there.
Yeah.
You know you are. Yeah, you. I'm talking to you.
Yeah.
But real quick thing with Shamrock. I don't care what people say, he deserves to be into the Hall of Fame sometime. If only he had the personality of a Kurt Angle, he would have been one of the greatest of all time. He's the
first crossover UFC wrestling star. So.
Yeah, exactly. So, and he was an accomplished mid-card star, and I feel for that alone, he should go into the Hall of Fame. He was a solid IC champ, solid in his spot, King of the Ring winner, did a lot, was a part of a lot of big moments, including the classic double turn at Mania 13. So why not put him into the Hall of Fame, for crying out loud?
Yeah, makes sense.
And James brought up, what if we had Ken Shamrock versus Bobby Lashley? That'd be stiff.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
There you go.
That'd be
cool. Good.
But the Lions Den match,
just get me Shamrock Lesnar. Just give me that.
That's all I need.
That's main event material.
I mean, fuck, Shamrock and Vader was a stiff match.
Yeah, and that was awesome. That was an awesome match at the Cold Day in Hell a little over a year prior.
Mentioning the Lesnar-Shamrock thing, the reason why we never got a really good Dan Severn Ken Shamrock match was the politics of, okay, who goes over, who wins, who's going to be told they can lose to the other when there's history between the two in the octagon, when Ken took out Dan pretty quickly with front chantry choke, and Al Snow gave him shit for it afterward because he told him not to leave with his head, and he did, and that's what Shamrock saw. So there was politics behind that one. Nowadays, if you had Shamrock Lesnar, probably Lesnar's going to go over, but Shamrock's going to kick the shit out of him to get there.
Yeah, Brock would have to work for it.
Right.
But yeah, the Lions Den match, I love this match. I thought this match was awesome.
Oh, really good.
Really a great match in my opinion.
Innovative spots. They're in a very limited area. There's no ropes. Okay, there's no turnbuckles. You got Owen, who's a guy who does take to the turnbuckles and the ropes very often. Having to utilize a different ground game. Owen has a very extensive amateur background. No surprise right there. So he's able to implement those skills. And work with the environment they have, and they make a fucking hell of a run with it too. It's a really fun match with some good innovative spots.
And Shamrock utilizing the cage for some diving attacks, like doing almost like a parkour thing by springboarding off the cage and doing a kick or elbow. I thought those were cool spots in their own right.
Saying hi to Russell Reeves, who just stopped in. Hey guys, he said, how about Ken Shamrock versus Kurt Angle?
Maybe if Shamrock would have stuck around after 99, yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's probably not going to happen now, but back then, if Ken Shamrock stuck around into 2000, 2001, then we could have had a really solid Shamrock angle.
No doubt about it.
Back then. Yeah, that would have been solid.
Yeah, that would have been cool. But in the end, Ken Shamrock defeats Owen Hart with the ankle lock in 9 minutes, 16 seconds. If we ever get a chance to talk about 1999 at some point in the future, definitely would tear apart the second Lions Den match just a tad, because it wasn't nearly as good, but it is what it is. Moving on to the second of 4 championship matches. A no disqualification match for the WWF Tag Team Championships. Champion, Mankind, because remember, he and Kane were the champs at the time, but they were going at each other. Hell, just 6 nights prior on Raw, they had a Hell in a Cell match, which fucking Foley took an even worse bump than the classic thrown off the top of the cell bump because he hit on the floor rather than the table.
Yep.
And
which they don't talk about that one.
Yeah.
Nope. That one was left out a lot.
Yeah. So it was Kane and Mankind as the champions, but Kane no-showed the match, so it's Mankind defending against Road Dogg and Billy Gunn, the New Age Outlaws, in a 2-on-1 handicap no DQ match. Now, for what it was okay. I mean, you had some cool weapon spots, Foley doing a shtick. I actually forgot to mention, beforehand, you had these promos and segments all night of Foley trying to figure out, what am I going to do? Vince trying to encourage him by giving him a silver platter of weapons to use. And then the classic line, well, if the Outlaws have something to say about that, I got 13 words for them. How much wood could a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood? Not lying, when I was at work yesterday, and I play this show on full blast because I'm bored, nothing's going on, nobody cares.
Right.
Watching this, and when my coworker Brenda hears it, and she dies laughing. Hearing how much wood could a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood. I fucking love
remember the Mick Foley promo he does? He was referee before a triple threat match. He's in the back, he's counting to 3. He goes, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, menage à trois.
My big reservation with this match, though, was the babyface heel distinction. You got DX, you got the Outlaws, who are, at that time,
the babyfaces,
very highly over babyfaces.
Right.
And they're being dicks. They're being dicks. They're being total dicks. They're trying to get Mankind over as a babyface, but I think it was a temporary. I mean, it was obviously a temporary heat because they immediately went back to being DX right after that. But it was like early 1998 all over again. They're beating the shit out of. I remember watching this. I'm like, God, I hope Terry Funk jumps over the railing from the audience and to help catch this.
Something.
Yeah.
James makes a good point. He says, without research, you wouldn't know who was the face or the heel in this match. And you're right, James. I mean, it's if you watch Raw several nights prior and then watch this match, totally you're confused. You have no idea what the hell's going on.
Yeah, because with the whole thing of Mankind and Kane starting to splinter off a couple weeks prior with the whole Undertaker and Kane and cahoots thing, and they want nothing to do with Foley, the Spike Tombstone and all that, it seemed like, at this point they're trying to start building Mankind up as a babyface again, but they did this with him, and in the end, after the New Age Outlaws beat Mankind to win the belts in 5 minutes, 16 seconds, they put him into the dumpster, only for after the Outlaws get in the ring and celebrate, Kane pops up out of the dumpster. Out comes Kane. Out comes Kane with the sledgehammer and bashes Foley's brains in. Mm-hmm. Like, damn him! So, not
Poor
the
Glenn
best of starts.
Glenn had nothing to do on this show.
Which sucks, because
he hung out in the goddamn dumpster for the whole match. Then he drops a sledgehammer on nothing. And then he walks out during the main event, which we'll get to. And then he walks to the back again. And he come out again. That was it. That's all he did that night. Poor guy.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, the Kane Mankind Hell in a Cell match took place right in Albany, New York. Just so you know.
But moving on, now we're at the part of the show where the things that people talk about the most on this night. First, the penultimate match, ladder match for the Intercontinental Championship, third of 4 title matches. The Rock with Mark Henry defending against Triple H with China. Another great promo package leading into this show, or leading into this match.
Now, mind you, they had not had a ladder match in 2 years prior to this. 2 or 3 years.
3 years since SummerSlam 95, which we will be talking about next week.
Yes,
exactly. Yeah. Shawn and Razor at SummerSlam 95, I believe, the last ladder match they had prior to this.
And that tells you that backstage they didn't have faith in anybody to do anything close to what Razor and Razor and Shawn did until we got to Paul and Rock.
Yep. And the promo package, I mean, and this of course was pretty much the conclusion of the long-standing DX Nation feud, which was one of the hotter feuds in the company at this point, because you had so much. You had like X-Pac and D-Lo going at each other, Mark Henry and Godfather against the Outlaws, vice versa, but especially Triple H and The Rock. Meanwhile, Owen was kind of off doing his own thing with Shamrock, not really involved too much with the whole DX thing after June. But yeah, this was basically the culmination of that really good feud. And a month prior to this, he had the match for the title at Fully Loaded that ended in a 30-minute time limit draw. That was a great match. So they think, okay, how do we top it? Give them ladders, and boy, did they deliver and put on one of the all-time best matches in SummerSlam history. And I'm going to say this, top 3 best ladder match in the history of ladder matches because of one particular thing. This was during a time when we don't see crazy, like, flying spots with the ladders like you see nowadays, which I do love. The reason I like this match so much is because they went more traditional wrestling, stiff wrestling with it, rather than high-flying high spots, kind of like Michaels and Razor and at this venue 4 years ago with the classic splash. No, this was stiff, it was brutal, it was traditional, and I loved it for that reason. They beat the hell out of each other, and not to mention Triple H going into this match with an injured knee.
Yes.
And they play it up a lot, both in kayfabe and in shoot. Like, he had a bad knee injury going into this match. So, say what you will about Triple H and such, but the man's one tough son of a bitch.
What's bad? What's there that's bad to say about Triple H? He's a 5-tool player, if you ask me. He's always been.
Yep. And Russell just mentioned too, and I was just going to say, this match elevated both guys. They made each other in this match. It is, like you said, one of the best ladder matches of all time. And you can argue who is the best of all time, but it's definitely up there. And you had 2 young, hungry guys that knew this was their opportunity to shine, and they were going to go out there and give everything they had, and they did, and it paid off. Huge.
Yeah, and fun fact I feel to mention with the Rock Triple H feud, it'd been going on and off since early 97 when Rocky Maivia beat Hunter Hearst Helmsley for the IC title. And these guys would feud on and off for the next few years in something different. That's why I feel the Rock Triple H feud should get more appreciation as being one of the best feuds the company ever had, because 97, they're feuding over the Intercontinental title. 98, still for the IC title, but on higher stakes with a faction.
99, 2000.
99, going at it for the shot at the WWF title. Then 2000, the last year of the feud for the title. So every year you had some different element to the Rock Triple H feud that I feel more people should talk about and appreciate more, and regard it as one of the top 10, maybe top 5 that might be pushing it, feuds in the history of the company, because they kept going in different directions with it. And we give with the ending of this match, you had Mark Henry throwing the powder in Triple H's face, but Triple H seemed to keep going up the ladder. The Rock trying to get up after him. China with the low blow, the 9th wonder of a low blow. And then Triple H gets back up. The Rock trying to climb back up, but it was too late. Triple H gets the belt down, and Triple H defeats The Rock in 26 minutes, 1 second.
Crowd explodes.
Nuts.
Yeah.
Oh my God, huge. Fucking nut everywhere.
Definitely a top 10 Triple H match for me.
Yeah,
I would even argue top 5.
Even with The Rock, too. I mean, The Rock just does an amazing job in this match. Being a cocky-ass heel, does whatever he does.
Oh.
And they just play their parts so well.
I forgot.
And gets juiced, too. He gets juiced, too, in the match.
Yep.
And, so that helps. That helps add to the heat.
And I forgot to mention, right when the bell rings and they do the stare down, you go and see him go, "Motherfucker, fuck you." I thought that was funny.
Yeah, and then on that note, we go to the
exclusive home video footage.
Undertaker.
I need Taker.
And Gorilla.
Someone find Taker. Where's Taker? And Luna walking down the hall.
X-Pac walking behind.
X-Pac almost bumping into Rock.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yep.
And then we get the quick little promo from The Rock, which was an interesting thing. So you could say after this match, The Rock gets elevated to main event status. Triple H took a little bit more time, but you can tell they were starting to slowly. I feel like had Triple H not had his knee injury and had to take a month or two off, about a month or so after this match, you could argue he would have gotten to the main event a little bit quicker, but still, it helped him out in the long run. So, and I pretty much feel that this was essentially the end of the Nation. Yeah, it kept going for a couple more weeks, but nobody really knew it at the time, but somehow it still kept going. But you could honestly argue that this was the final nail in the coffin of the Nation of Domination.
And just over 4 months earlier was the real big test for Triple H when Shawn went away. After Shawn dropped the belt to Austin, the next night in Albany for Raw, I was there that night, brought in X-Pac, formed the DX Army, that whole thing. And that was his real big testing ground to start being elevated higher up on the card. And when it's SummerSlam and it's a high-profile match and you got this incredible heel that got so much heat with The Rock, you got to put up or shut up, and he delivers, and that helped move him up even higher. If he hadn't had the knee surgery, maybe it would have been a little bit more of a smoother ride up. It just got a little bumpy along the way, but we all know he got there. Yeah. Regardless of who he's married to, folks, that has nothing to do with his talent.
That doesn't mean shit. That doesn't mean shit. Now, here's the other thing, though, is where would they have put him in the Deadly Games tournament if he was still healthy at that point?
Yeah, that is a good point.
I just wonder how they would have booked that tournament. Where would they have gone with that?
Yeah. But also, and James point this out, yes, this would be after this was the start of The Rock's short-lived face run that would last until Deadly Games.
Right.
So, but now moving on,
it got The Rock over huge.
Right.
Over huge.
Mm-hmm.
But now we move on to the main event of the night. 1-on-1 for the WWF title. Champion Stone Cold Steve Austin defending against The Undertaker. Now, we talk about who was face, who was heel. This was, you could say, anti-hero versus anti-hero. Mm-hmm. Arguably, Austin was definitely more the babyface. Taker was starting to go heel by this point. But still not quite there yet.
Yeah, it's testing the waters. It's testing the waters for a heel turn there. It's really more focusing on what the characters of the men are.
Yep.
But during the match, it's more. We see who's more over. Austin is more over in the match. Yeah. So he's going to get
Taker
shined.
did turn heel.
Taker's like the next Raw when he started to team up with Kane. That was when you saw him
and
turn
get that whole process going. That's where you see in this match, Taker is testing the waters. He knows how to get heat. He's a lot slower with his moves. He's allowing things to play out more. So it gets that anticipation from the crowd. So like when you go a lot more.
And
he just freeze up.
Yep, Scott just froze.
Scott, what are you doing?
Before it was Walt who was lagging. Now it's Scott.
Was I lagging? Oh,
at one point, no, not tonight. But in
where am I?
There you go. There
I
am.
Cool.
Dude, you're like,
what? I can't hear you. See, you're froze on me. So you're freezing on me now. You're freezing on me.
I'm freezing on you.
No, I was
frozen about 3 times already. So there you go.
But
you
anyways,
guys free too. What the fuck you giving me shit for, dumbasses?
But continue.
Get better Wi-Fi.
You had a funnier freeze face. That's all.
You got one right now.
Do I have one?
Yes. It's still there. Jesus. Levi's playing.
Really? I'm free and fluent on my screen. All three of us are. Somebody, I don't know.
Now you are.
Oh god. Oh, and Scott was frozen like this.
It's live, folks. That's all we can say.
Yeah, I had the same damn problem on the Horseman podcast yesterday with Ricky and I. Ricky was lagging like a motherfucker before. It was, holy hell, it was a pain in the ass. But anyways, but yeah, with this match, and of course, one famous story that happened during the match, as Austin and Taker were doing the little run to the rope sequence, and Austin kicking Taker in the face. Taker hits up, back of the head, hits Austin right in the chin, knocking him out for a few seconds. Yeah, Austin for about a good 10-15 seconds was in La La Land.
Yeah, he was gone. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But, of course, just a little bit into the match, about 10 minutes or 9 minutes into the match, you see Kane come out, and it seems like, oh no, is he going to help Taker? Nope, Taker's like, I don't want you out here, I want to do it myself, just go to the locker room. Because they're trying to play up, is Taker going to be true to his word that Kane will not be interfering in the match? And sure enough, he didn't interfere.
Taker sends him to the back.
And so we continue on with the match, and of course, one of the famous spots of the match, where Taker goes to the top rope, leg drop to Austin, on the table, not through it. Classic Japanese table moment, maniacal laugh. I am the table.
And he freezes.
I thought we were talking about the poop. I thought we were talking about the infamous Steve Austin getting knocked out with Undertaker's
I just said
giant
that.
hand.
I just talked about that. Well,
Yeah, I talked about it too, but you never heard me. So,
Oh, I must have froze up.
you know what's interesting about this match is that it starts hot, then they do chain wrestling, then they start fighting again, then they go out in the crowd, then they go through the crowd. It's like it hit all levels of types of work in this match.
yeah. And
It's a solid match, and even though Steve is noticeably out of it throughout the rest of the match after that little headbutt, I know you guys talked about it already, but they still make a very good go of it. It's a very physical match.
Yeah, and I'm going to make the argument, one of the top 10 best main, and one of the top 10, close to top 5 main events in SummerSlam history. Like, and to be honest, with Taker and Austin, they never really quite topped this match. Like, any match they had afterwards, they had some great matches afterwards, particularly the first Blood match at Fully Loaded less than a year later being the closest they came to topping this match, but I don't know, it was just weird. I feel like if Austin hadn't had the neck injury, definitely would have been a much better classic feud, but
that's
for
a huge
the style
factor in this time time for Austin too. So
because
that's why he had to work the way he did. Scott Hall made the comment that it was weird to see Austin work because Austin starts with his comeback. He doesn't start with a shine. And as you watch more of his match, you're like, yeah, he's just throwing punches and do all that shit. So he has like 2 comebacks in this match. Very different.
Yeah. But in the end, Austin hits Taker with the stunner. 1, 2, 3. Stone Cold Steve Austin retains the WWF title in 20 minutes, 52 seconds. But after the match, you see Taker get up with the belt. It looks like he might be trying to hit Austin, but nope. Hand it over.
There you go. Respect.
Yeah. Too bad that respect would not last long.
No.
Then as Taker's walking up, Kane walks back, just standing next to Taker like, okay, we got our work cut out for us. And then back to the locker room they win. So overall, SummerSlam 1998, I would argue it's a tale of two halves, but in a good way. First half was a good first half. You had 3 solid, really good matches. The second half, a classic second half, I feel like. So, good first half, amazing second half. Whereas usually when I say tale of two halves, it's like one half was good, one half was bad. This was a tale of two halves in the best way possible. Good first half and an elevated second half, which was awesome to witness. So now on to, and well, actually, before we get to best match and worst match, if I were to make the argument of where this would rank in overall SummerSlams, you could argue it being number 1. I personally give it number 2.
Top 3.
But top 3 for sure.
Mm-hmm.
No doubt,
Agreed.
top 3
Agreed.
for sure.
Yeah,
you
so
could
it's up
argue
there.
at number 1, and I could agree with you. But there is still one SummerSlam that's just a tad bit better, and we'll be talking about that one
get into
in
that
2
2
weeks'
weeks.
time.
Yeah.
But now on to best match and worst match. For best match, by a narrow margin, I'm going to give it to Triple H versus The Rock in the ladder match for the Intercontinental title, with Austin and Taker being a very close second. Now,
I totally agree with that. 100%. Crowd
Likewise.
absolutely loses it when Triple H gets that belt. So
Likewise.
Yeah.
So we're all on even
on the
keel
same
with that.
page for best match. And if I may argue, Rock Triple H, best match in the company in 1998 in my mind. Or number 2. You could
It's up
put
there.
it neck and neck with Taker, Mankind, and Hell in a Cell 2 months prior, but I would go with this because of the more wrestling involved.
Taker Mankind is known for more so for a couple of crazy spots. All right, it was a good match, but it's no more for
right, yeah.
a couple of crazy spots. Triple H and Rock was just a great
Overall.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Now, for worst match, for me, it's easy. Oddities, Kai and Tai.
Mhm.
I go and agree with that, but I can't say it's like I said earlier.
It's not the worst match in the world. It was just more.
They did the best with what
comic
they had to
relief.
work with.
More
Mhm.
comic
They did the best
relief
what they
if
had to work
anything.
Yeah.
So
You weren't gonna get the kind of match you would get with Kai and Tai versus Great Sasuke, Grand Hamada, Tiger Mask, Grand Hanawa,
Yeah.
and the little guy with the elf costume there.
The green outfit.
You're not gonna get that. Yeah, you're not gonna get that. No. So.
Yeah, it's really tough. I mean, I'm not going to say the 8-man because the 8-man was at least fun and everyone kind of played their part and they got to perform.
I feel the only other match that would be possibly in consideration for worst match would be the Outlaws versus Mankind.
And that was
That match was okay
yeah.
for what it was designed
Again,
to do. Despite
Yeah.
the murky aspect of who was the face and who was the heel.
That's the thing with this card is there's no bad match.
Yeah, everyone's over.
Yeah.
Everyone is
It's like
over.
it's like Bash 89. It's a good match from top to bottom.
Yeah, it's solid. So it's really hard to pick the best match. I mean, the one that I probably cared about the least was the mixed tag match. Because, it was exciting to see the Edge debut, but Sable was just so bad. And it was all about just Mark trying to make his wife look good in looking at it through my eyes nowadays as opposed to back then. It just seemed like I cared about seeing that match the most on this show. So, I mean, I can't say it's the worst match. I just think it's the match that I just didn't care for the most. I'll go with that.
Fair enough. So now that we're done with the review, a small little reminder, next week for the next SummerSlam, we're going to rewind the clock a little bit to 1995. And then the final Saturday of the month, we're going to conclude SummerSlam month with what I would say arguably the best SummerSlam of all time, 2002. September, still getting ideas flowing, although Unbreakable 2005 for TNA is a definite for September, even though I need to watch that show back because it's been so long. But now that we're done with the review, time for some questions that people have sent. And we got 6 people watching, so go ahead and get your questions. They could be about the show, could be about FMKs, whatever's on your mind wrestling-oriented.
Yep. Russell mentioned he heard that Austin was disappointed with his match with Taker. I don't remember hearing that. Was he?
Well, he was disappointed with his own performance, not the match itself. But he got knocked out. That was He says that. He even says that many times. He was out of it most of that match. Now, and you can tell the finish was kind of wonky.
Right.
It looked like Steve was forgetting spots.
Mm-hmm.
But not his fault. I mean, shit happens.
He just was in La La Land for a while.
Right.
Yeah.
And it was nobody's fault. It was just an accident. It ain't ballet.
No.
Shit happens.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. Russell just said, for me, the best match, I'm the same as far as worse. I can't pick one for me, but default is Mick versus Outlaws just because I feel bad for Mick. And that's valid. That's definitely valid, Russell. Makes sense.
Well, the poor booking on that was they didn't continue Mick's babyface run, or because he was babyface in that match, and the following week on Raw, he's back to being being a little more comedic, but he didn't really follow up on that. I mean, that Hell in the Cell match with him and Kane is very underrated. It's short. It's only about it's violent.
Right, go ahead, Levi. Tell me.
Oh, Ricky, you're stirring the pot now. He says, tell Scott what his number one was for the band logos episode yesterday. I bet he'll love it. He chose the band Him for best logo.
Of course he did.
Oh, God.
I was going to guess that.
And just as a side note with that show yesterday, here I thought he was going to have AC/DC number one because I had AC/DC at number one, and I know that's his favorite band of all time, and I'm like, why did you betray yourself?
That's for you, Ricky.
And James is Rob. Yeah, Mick wouldn't officially turn babyface until the double turn with the Rocket Survivor Series. So
yes,
there you go.
Yeah.
Whew.
Remember now, with a lot of the stuff we're talking about where that's confusing, remember who was head of writing the show. It's Russo. It's Russo time. So, I know Vince McMahon, yes, he has final say over everything, but Russo was throwing 10,000 things at him, and before Vince could know what pile of shit was coming at him, he was ducking a bunch of other ones, and whatever stuck got on the show. But still, that's where a lot of confusion can come from, is the creative aspect of it.
Yeah, and I'm going to be slightly controversial and say that, honestly, after Russo left, I felt the creative was better without him in the rest of the Attitude Era, because you didn't have too much of that anymore. You had more straight-ahead ideas, who was face, who was heel, and it was perfect.
Right.
So I would argue that after Russo and Ed Ferrara was gone after October 99, I felt the more straight-ahead ideas of who was the good guy, who were the bad guys, was far better than anything Russo was doing. So there you go. And that's not just me saying that because I don't like the Vince Russo, but I would just say it's just God's honest truth.
It is undeniable Vince Russo's impact on wrestling business at that time. Since then, absolutely nothing. But so you had Vince McMahon, you had Vince Russo, you had Jim Cornette, you had Bruce Pritchard, and Pat Patterson would give ideas too.
And even Jim Ross as well at times.
Yeah, and Jim Ross kind of, he would just throw ideas out there, but more the writing and the aspect of it was those other four guys. And then Cornette quits the booking team. He can't stand working with Russo anymore, so he leaves that. And then Russo leaves in 99. Cornette at that point is going back to Kentucky to start OVW. So then Vince has to start looking to bring in writers and go from there. So that was another big aspect of the business that changed.
Mm-hmm. No longer did you have bookers in WWE, you have writers.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Good Lord, most of the writers have come in since Stephanie took over creative in 2002. They have been so bad.
One of the worst times of the business was, look how many talents came through the doors of WWF, WWE at the time that Stephanie was in charge of creative. It's ridiculous. Got that?
Yeah. Ricky says, if you do anything for January for Royal Rumble month, if you do 99, he'd be all in to join us for that. Yeah, 99's possible because, of course, you have the classic I Quit match and the worst Royal Rumble match in history of the Royal Rumble. For those who say 2015 was worse, 2015 sucked, but at least you had more wrestlers who mattered in that match.
99, was 2015 one where Batista won?
No, Roman. After the Daniel Bryan eliminated in 10 minutes,
That
show was fine. The crowd was stupid.
Yeah, the crowd was stupid. Yeah.
It's Philadelphia. What are you going to do?
Yeah. Whereas the reason I say 99's Rumble match was the worst of all time because literally no one mattered except Austin and Vince. Like, you could have just had a one-on-one match with Austin and Vince, call it the Rumble match, nobody would have figured out
Well,
anything otherwise.
that's pretty much what it was. It was Austin and Vince with 28 other guys.
28 run-ins. That's essentially what it was, and it was
40-man Royal Rumble was worse myself. But
I mean, the 40-man wasn't terrible. It was just a concept that didn't work.
It was overdone. It was
The greatest Royal Rumble was the worst Royal Rumble.
That's up there too. Yeah.
Yeah. That's what that was. 50 guys, wasn't it?
That was about 50 guys. Yeah, with people that you never fucking heard of, by the way.
Yeah.
Or most people hadn't heard of.
Yeah. And James brought up 93 and 95 were bad. Yeah, 93 was bad. 95, the reason why I felt that one was bad was because of lack of star power and just how short it was.
It was that was the 1 minute intervals, wasn't it?
Yeah,
that was
the match was only about 39 minutes.
Yep. Get it in, get it out.
Yeah.
Russell, do y'all remember the VHS version? They went and interviewed Taker in Austin.
I do not, actually.
I didn't have the VHS version of it, so I don't remember that. But like I said, we saw exclusive with The Rock on the show. Interesting, we didn't see an exclusive with Taker or Austin on the network.
Mind you, little fun fact: ICP needed a mirror to go do their makeup, and they put them in the same locker room as
Austin Taker. Yeah,
and
they were like, "We were so privileged to be in there.
We're so privileged and honored."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I remember that shoot interview.
Yep.
And the classic, what a dick.
We were going to the garden, right? And we gotta try and find a place to put a paint on. So they said, you go in over here. We can go in there. We go in there. And fucking Taker and Austin's in there calling the match.
I'll fight you, Taz. I'm not afraid of you.
Or the Who's a Ho Sable. Well, I don't want to say that because I don't want to get my ass beat by Brock.
Uh-huh.
Or Terry. Well, I don't want to say because I don't want to get stabbed by New Jack.
What about China? What about China? I don't like them.
God, the best is when they talk about Goldberg freaking out at Evan Courageous.
Yes, rubs his balls and goes to shake his hand. He won't shake his hand.
Yeah.
Ricky brings up that he says, "I don't even
just shake Goldberg's hand and then go wash your hands immediately. Move on with life. Okay,
move on.
Some things you don't do. One of them is make Goldberg mad.
Yeah,
I'd be legit frightened if I angered Goldberg.
Yeah, I mean, hell, I'll say this before I get back to the chat. If anybody here knows who Roy Mercer is, the prank caller, he calls up Goldberg, and Phil and Brent call up Goldberg, and oh god, me and my dad crack up laughing like, "How would you like to have your ass whooped?" Shit, what are you, nuts? And then, say what you will about Goldberg, but he at least knows how to take a good joke. Because eventually, as that thing on the CD went along, he started recognizing this is all a rib. Because he just was enjoying it. And he's like, Charlie, my brother-in-law, that's cool. I'll whoop his ass too.
him and Matt Riddle. Yeah, I'm not your bro.
Not your bro. Okay, bro. I'm not your bro.
Watch your ass, Matt Riddle. I don't know about that. I'm not so sure if I'd be fucking around there.
Mm-hmm.
Matt's got a fight background, but Goldberg's big and jacked and crazy.
Still, even in his mid-50s. But anyways, to get back to the chat, Ricky brings up, he says, I don't even recognize the greatest Royal Rumble. Then again, almost everything that happens in Saudi Arabia is technically ignored except when The Fiend won the Universal title. That is true. Yeah, pretty much they don't ever talk about Saudi shows except for that.
Or when Goldberg dropped Taker on his head. It's in
that too, yeah. Speaking of The Fiend, did we have a double turn on SmackDown last night?
It would seem to be, because, so what happened was, Braun Strowman comes out bald now, shaved off his head, and he's so angry and pissed. Alexa Bliss comes out trying to reason with him and doesn't even look at her. He's just stared down. Like, whenever you're around The Fiend, they change you just like he's changing you. I don't give a damn about our friendship or me being in that stupid car with you. And then Alexa's like, look at me when I'm talking to you. Slaps him right in the face, and then he picks her up and Gorilla presses her over onto the mat as The Fiend comes out, and Alexa's like, winded.
She's in midair as the lights go out.
Yeah, and then
wonderful editing.
Yeah, and then The Fiend comes out, and then Braun's on the Tron, evil, laughing like, and then The Fiend, he starts going, looking a little scared and laughing a bit. So yeah, it would seem like that's a double turn.
Yeah, Russell, the copyright we were talking about earlier, that's why they cut the ICP performance there. They're not going to pay for the rights of that music, so they're going to cut that out.
Yeah, because WWE are a bunch of Vince McMahon's a cheap ass. Mm-hmm. It's like, what does he have to lose in that match? Oh well. Russell says do 2001 as well. That's my favorite. I'm guaranteeing we're doing Royal Rumble 2001 when we do Rumble Month, because one of the best top to bottom Rumbles, arguably the best top to bottom Royal Rumble pay-per-view of all time. Rumble match itself, second best. To me, there will be no Rumble match that'll ever top 1992. In my
hell
mind.
no.
But 2001's a damn close second. And 2001 was damn close second, but yeah.
How about that? I was there at the 1992 Royal Rumble, one of the best Rumbles of all time, and I was at SummerSlam 98, one of the best SummerSlams of all time. You catching the pattern?
Yeah.
Male pattern baldness. That's all you're catching. Moving on.
And
that's the pattern I'm catching.
And Ricky brings up about the Fiend and Braun thing. He says it could just be mind games. That is possible. I mean, I guess, even though I'm not going to watch SummerSlam, but unless something happens that might catch my eye, but I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. I'll be checking it out. I'm going to watch it.
I mean, Orton and McIntyre, I think, is going to be fucking great.
Good.
I think we have a 5. That should be a 5-star match right there.
That should be real good.
It's going to be interesting to see Asuka.
That is if
you cannot say.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to say for McIntyre Orton, that is if Orton actually gives a damn about the match. He better give a damn, otherwise I'll be pissed.
Drew McIntyre, your distant cousin, he's like, he's gonna do what he needs to do for the match, and I have a feeling that Randy will be carrying him this match because Drew might make him.
One can hope. That is, like I said, if Orton would actually care about a match for once, like he's been with Edge,
right?
Then fucking go for it.
I'm intrigued to see what Asuka is going to be doing with her 2 matches. You cannot say they are not pushing on. They're making Asuka a beast now.
She's the new Charlotte, 100%. To fill the gap,
Becky.
To fill the Becky and Charlotte gap, you've got Asuka now. That's all you need. And because there was a time we kind of were writing off Asuka as being done, and lo and behold, guess
after Mania 34, yeah. And funny enough, Scott, I brought up to you in the past about how I discovered your stuff was thanks to my friend Jessica. She's a huge fan of Asuka.
Oh, nice.
Huge fan of Asuka. So.
How could you not be? Follow her YouTube channel, Asuka Chan. She's adorable.
Yeah.
Outside the ring, just like you want to hug her and everything. You want to take her out for some sushi.
She's wanted to be my friend.
Yes. I'm your friend, Walt.
James brings up 2020 Orton has been the best Orton in a long time. I agree with that. Even going back to the build up to WrestleMania with him and Edge, that was some good stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Oh yeah.
Horror Master says
just like in the Edge couldn't get his WrestleMania match in front of an audience.
I know.
That's he got the Rumble. He got the big Rumble moment.
He did.
So thank God
at least we got that.
Yeah.
Before everything went to shit, we got that. Mandy Sonia, hair versus hair.
Mandy's winning that, I say.
Bruce Pritchard's in charge, folks.
Yep. What can we say about that? About haircut match. It's a good idea. So put something on the line. There's no belt, so we put their hair on the line.
I will say, even though I think Mandy's gonna win, oh God, I'm gonna feel so bad for Sonya if they cut her hair.
Okay. Oh my God, I just thought of this. Okay, Asuka beats Bayley and Sasha, wins both titles. Okay. Music hits. Out comes Otis to cash in the Money in the Bank on the women. He beats the two of them. He beats Asuka, wins both belts, and gives them to Mandy.
Oh, yeah, God.
Best boyfriend ever.
Best boyfriend ever.
And what's funny? You know what's funny? Call me crazy, but I could totally see that happening. I can totally see that
to make that really work, Sonya's got to beat Mandy, and Mandy's got to shave her head, so she feels terrible. So Otis is trying to cheer her up. So he cashes in. There you go.
I like that too.
Yep.
Good addition to it.
But anyways, Russell asks, if you do an episode of a WWE year next month, do 2003. 2003, I was 8 going on 9 in 2003, and I remember a good bit about that year. I don't know. I feel like with 2003, like leading into WrestleMania, it was awesome. After WrestleMania, it slowly tapered off in a bad way, because like Raw that year, good lord, it was the Triple H show. It was the Triple H show throughout 2003. SmackDown was a little bit better. Well, actually, a lot better, I'll say. But like, that was when we started to get the brand exclusive pay-per-views, which, in hindsight, I don't get why. But I mean, I understand why they did, so they can give more people on each brand a chance to be on pay-per-view. But in the end, it's like, why do them? Just have them all on one show, like they've been doing now ever since 2017. So there you have it with that. But yeah, 2003 was a bit of an oddball year. Like Raw was really weird. SmackDown was good, but as a whole
there was
year,
no competition anymore. Vince was trying to create his own competition with the brand split, and you see where that went, and it just wasn't connecting. That's when the Attitude Era was over, and half the wrestling fans went away because WCW went away. So, there was the big decline of ratings, and everything went kind of back to the party was over for pro wrestling at that point. Yeah. Russell says, thoughts on Dominic Mysterio? Kid takes a hell of a bamboo cane shot.
He can take bumps. He can take punishment.
Very watchable match.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Seth can do it. We know Seth can.
They just made a street fight, too, by the way.
They did. Oh, even better.
Yeah.
So, Seth is going to do good stuff with him. Ray's going to probably get involved. There'll be drama. There'll be, soap opera, and there'll be craziness. So, it's going to be good.
Ray's giant son.
Yeah.
Yeah. Eddie's son.
Eddie's son.
Oh boy, that whole thing. Which funny enough, James did a From the Vault on SummerSlam 2005 where he talks about that. Nice. Seems like Orton is back to Legend Killer. Thank God, because the Legend Killer gimmick was, in my opinion, Orton's best work. Next to Age of Orton, 2008 era Orton, that was some good stuff too, but Legend Killer, that was great stuff. From that run of 2003 through 2005 as the Legend Killer, that was some awesome stuff. But yeah, as far as Dominic, with the right coaching and the right teaching, I think he could be something. I mean, hell, the kid's around my age, maybe a year older than me, or actually, I'm gonna double check because I don't want to fuck up on this one.
10 during the Mysterio Guerrero feud in 05.
Yeah, something like that.
So it's not that old yet.
Mysterio.
Excuse us, folks, while we check the internet.
Actually, I'm older than him. I'm 3 years older.
He's 23. Okay.
Yeah, and he's 6'2", so yeah, he is the giant Mysterio.
Me and my dad.
So yeah.
I wonder when they're out and about, do they mistake like a rate for being his kid?
Ricky, they're not going to do Hell in the Cell Performance Center. I don't think the Performance Center is set up with the parameters to do Hell in the Cell.
If they're going to do
leaving the Performance Center. They're leaving. So they can do Hell in the Cell at the Amway Center now. They're leaving the Performance Center, so they can do. Yeah, right. Yeah, they're in the Amway Center. From what I gather, the reports are saying they got it until the end of October. Hell in the Cell is in October, isn't it?
Yeah, September, October.
Yeah, I forget.
So they'll be doing. That's probably why they got the wheels rolling. That and AEW's atmosphere, they got a better atmosphere with their live shows. They do, than it is the Performance.
Yeah. And James just confirmed, they'll be at Amway Center. So there you go.
Yep.
But yeah, thank goodness they're moving to somewhere besides the Performance Center for a little while. But
I'm just wondering what they're going to do to add atmosphere and breath to the environment, though. 'Cause they're a big ass empty arena now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I'm your poppy. That's right, Russell.
Yeah.
Russell said, you had Ultimate Dragon that year, 2003, I believe he was talking about. You had Ultimate Dragon there and Goldberg. I know now that it was a bad time, and the famous Big Show spot, too.
Yeah, so, Rock on SmackDown. That was probably, in my opinion, probably the best thing that whole year was that classic spot.
Mm-hmm.
And, of course, I would say for comedic purposes, the Eddie Guerrero Big Show stuff towards the end of the year with the toilet humor. I'm immature. I like some toilet humor here and there, especially...
No, get out of here.
Especially that segment of Big Show shitting his brains out, and then Eddie kicking the door.
Online where all you do is draw dicks. What's that game again?
Oh, Scriblio? Yeah.
What?
Oh, God, Walt.
What the hell is that?
Okay, so, Walt, the game online...
Levi and my son have a game to play now.
Yeah, I guess so. Yes, they do.
Yeah, it's a game... So, Walt, it's a game called Scriblio. It's basically the online version of Pictionary, where you draw something, you try and guess what it is. No shitting, not shitting you. I get the option to draw red. I literally draw a stick figure with a giant dick and balls coming out blood. And only one person got it right for red, and he was like, "Are you kidding me? Why does that have to be the hint?" And I'm like, "I'm not gonna paint the entire fucking board red, that's too obvious. I gotta mess with you somehow."
Let's see. Ricky just asked, wasn't it 2003 when Kane removed his mask and we had the
Katie Vick was 2002. The mask removal was 2003.
2003, yep.
And fun
MSG
fact
as
about
MSG
too. And fun fact about that night, that was June 23rd. That was on my mom's birthday. She turned 41.
That's right. Yeah, you told us about this. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we, along with a couple of my cousins who were hanging out while my dad was away on business, we watched that Raw, and we were stunned to even see Kane unmask. Hindsight 2020, stupid decision to have Kane remove his mask. If you wanted to make Kane be a monster, just have him lose his fucking mind after losing the match. Don't take the mask off. I mean, yeah, it was intriguing for what it was at that time, but...
But again, this was that era of weird stuff going on, writers coming in, changing storylines, writers coming in and going. There was a lot of influx of writers coming in and leaving. So you have somebody start working on a storyline, they get fired, someone new comes in to take over that storyline, and it's going to get all convoluted. So leading to the craziness of the mid-2000s.
Yeah. Whew. But yeah, Katie Vick. Oh my god.
Katie Vick.
The one quote I'm never gonna forget about the Katie Vick angle. "Oh, I screwed your brains out." Why? Just why?
Because Vince just thought it was gonna be funny.
Shit.
And still shit. And still the worst part about that segment was they were doing it while there was a real funeral in the next room, and someone comes in and goes, "Shh." Oh, my brain just hurts talking about it. Oh my god. Absolute stupidity, but whatever. I feel like I've aged 20 years just even talking about this. Then again, I feel like with all the rants I've done over the years on my channel, I feel like I've aged 50 years. Ooh, Baby Maharaja. Do you think HBK and Triple H were behind the burials of Chris Masters and Rob Conway? Maybe, maybe not.
Masters was dealt a bad gimmick I mean, he was supposed to have this $1 million body, and there's guys. Punk said this in an interview he did one time. Master's gimmick is supposed to have this $1 million body. There's guys in the segment before and the segment after him that look even better. So he just makes him look like the biggest shithead. He's not pumping enough steroids, not cut enough. So it just ruined him. So it was the gimmick more than ruined him. And with Rob Conway, they bring him in. He was a top star in OVW. And they bring him up to the main roster. They make him the French sympathizer
for La Resistance.
For La Resistance, Savon and Renee. And Sylvain gets fired because he's no good. And they just stick him with Ryan. And it's like, what are they going to do when they have to just look at me? That's what they did.
Yeah.
And it didn't work out. Again, this is that time frame, that 2002, 2003, 2004, 2005, that era where nobody got over. Nobody was getting over because the business was losing fans left and right and losing momentum.
Mm-hmm.
Rock was gone. Austin was gone. Triple H was now running Raw pretty much and all over there. Shawn Michaels was gone. Taker was badass.
Then eventually become Dead Man again.
Right. They had that in 2004. And
then eventually new stars coming up like Orton, Batista, and Cena, and they were wanting to make Batista the big guy, the big top babyface until they changed their minds to Cena because of. And now people want to think people think it's a stupid move to have Cena be the top babyface. Well, look at the facts. Comparing Cena to Batista, Cena's a nice guy, Batista's a dick.
Mm-hmm.
So Cena's much more marketable to kids and to young adults.
Cena cares more about the business than anybody.
Exactly.
First guy in the building, last guy in the building.
Yeah.
Did whatever Vince asked him to do on his days off.
And worked his ass off to get better as a wrestler, especially in the later stages of his career. Like a lot of people, and I loved messing with my buddy Austin from Boston about this, because I brought up before at SummerSlam 2006, he was there live, and yet he was cheering for Edge, and he was only 6 or 7. But yeah, he was a big Cena hater, and I kept trying to prove to him that, hey, Cena is a damn good wrestler. People don't want to admit it, but he is. I would argue one of the top 5 most underrated wrestlers ever because so many people hate him and they don't want to recognize how much better he's been as a wrestler, especially in the last 10 years. Good God, people. Yeah. I get it. There were other people who probably should have gotten the world title at a certain point or another during his run at the top.
You can say that for many different areas of the business.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, it's what the company wanted from him, and Cena wasn't going to say no. He was going to do what he had to do to keep a job. At the end of the day, wrestling is a job, first and foremost.
It's business.
It's a business, first and foremost, entertainment second.
All about the business, baby.
Exactly.
The American Dream, that's the road. Want to tell you what this is all about there.
Nobody, unless you're some mark promoter, nobody is keeping track of the number of stars Dave Meltzer gives you.
And besides, since when should
about that 2003, 2006 era? It was the era of the brawn panty matches.
Yeah,
it was the era of the
bikini contests, pillow fights.
Yeah, exactly.
Basically the shit era for women's wrestling.
I do want to mention most of the pay-per-views we've been watching lately have been sausage fests. We got to get some women's action in here soon. We definitely got to do that. Yeah, so we need to do that. I'm getting tired of looking at all these dudes.
Chris Nowinski, the only Harvard grad. Oh, yeah.
October's coming up. We could do Evolution.
Perhaps.
We could do that.
Like a bonus episode of sorts to go along with
Halloween Havoc. We could take out a Halloween Havoc and put that in there. So
yeah. Oh, HLA. Oh, that didn't last long. That was only, a 1 month thing.
Not even.
Not even a month.
Yeah, that was quick.
It all culminates with Stephanie kissing Rikishi dressed in drag.
Uh-huh.
Oh, God, Unforgiven 2002. But let's also not forget 2003. That was the year of Stephanie looking her hottest. Because, good Lord, her tits were big. Thanks to surgery, but still. And a nice ass bent over a desk.
That's how usually they are, dude.
Yeah. I mean,
they've always they've always kind of been big even before the surgery.
Even before the surgery, she just had naturally.
No, not really. No.
Well, still nobody's got
the promo with Jericho. You saw the Jericho promo
exactly.
with the
yeah, from 1 year to the next. Yep. But I'll say,
the floor.
Yeah. Oh God,
I still like her.
Thank you, Stephanie. You're depressed. I mean, best.
I liked her when she was wholesome. I thought she was cute when she was wholesome.
Yeah.
She
still is pretty, but you can definitely tell she's starting to look a little bit like Vince.
It's a voice.
I think. Well, first of all, she looked pretty good in the Undertaker's wife's black gown outfit there. That was pretty hot.
Yeah.
And I'd say that since Stephanie's been away for a while and having to remote in from Connecticut, I think the girl's had some work done. Little Botox here and there. Her face is looking different.
Yeah.
A little bit, yeah. And that voice, though, I can't get through that voice.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, her voice sounds like nails on a chalkboard. I don't know. I don't know which female personality in wrestling's got a worse nails on a chalkboard voice: Stephanie McMahon, Vicky Guerrero, or Madison Rayne. I feel Madison Rayne is the worst.
When Vicky's doing her
notice how we totally left Luna out.
Yes, we did.
Luna, I like her voice. I liked her voice.
Margo, bite your fucking face off! Ah!
I liked hearing Luna talk. She sounded like she was trying to sing black metal.
That's true.
The best thing was watch some of Gangrel's shoot interviews. The best imitations. Like
Vicky Guerrero's voice was nice when she wasn't performing.
Yeah, when she wasn't yelling at the top of her lungs.
It sounds like a nice, calming, loving mother voice.
Yeah.
So
Vicky's a very sweet lady too. I haven't met her, so she's really, really.
Say what you will about how insufferable she was, going, "Excuse me."
Mm-hmm.
That was her gimmick.
Yeah, that's the point. It's getting heat.
She was a Karen. That was her gimmick.
Yep, she was a Karen. That's right, Cougar Karen. So I mean, it's like
still looks good.
I don't even remember what Madison Rayne sounds like, nor do I want to.
Oh, Madison Rayne when she yelled. Good Lord, especially in that. Really, the only good segment of her screaming was the back and forth with her and Sting at the end of 2011 on Impact. And it was so funny.
Sable has a worse voice. She just sounded so freaking...
She sounds super nasally.
Yeah, super nasally.
China had a nasally voice too.
Yes, China did too.
Yeah.
But like Sable would just talk like she was reading from a script. Well, she was. But I mean, legit, like there were cue cards in front of her. That's how she spoke. Yeah. Just really, really annoying.
You can thank Vince Russo for the success of Sable. He was infatuated with her.
Oh, how could I forget, Ricky? Thank you. Jillian Hall was bad too.
Oh, well, that was again gimmick.
That was also a gimmick.
And you know what's ironic about that? Jillian Hall's from Ashland, Kentucky, which is literally about 45 minutes from my house. Holy crap, I completely forgot about Jillian. Yeah,
she can actually sing and talk, okay?
I know, but still. But I'd have to go with Madison Rayne. Whenever she yells, it makes me want to cut my ears off with scissors. But the only time where it was funny was in that segment with Sting in December 2011 on an episode of Impact when Karen Jarrett was gone from TV and they do this angle where she gives her knockouts power to Madison Rayne and Gail Kim, but Sting coming out with no makeup going like, Karen had a legally binding contract which you don't have. She gave it to me! She gave me her power! And then Sting's like, no, I got the power! She gave it to me! I got the power! No! Yes! It was so funny. Oh, it was such a classic segment. And all leading up to the return of Mickie James. And Sting's like, it's Mickie James! Slipping out. It was awesome. I love... People can say what they want about crazy Joker Sting in 2011. I fucking loved it because he was hilarious. I honestly feel like Steve Borden could have made a good Hollywood actor. I really, really do, because the way he
tried.
carried...
He tried.
He tried.
Well, just from his performance as Joker Sting, he kind of reminded me of Jim Carrey with his facial expressions and the way he would go crazy with his voice, especially on the first night where he turned Joker with the face paint in that segment with Bischoff where he's like, "What hurts most are my feelings. Eric, you cussed at me." I still
did
having fun.
take a stab at acting. He did take a stab at it. Didn't work out.
Yeah, it's just Steve having fun. So
Yeah.
he got the chance to do that.
And he even admits that he loved doing that on that Table for Three episode with Jared and AJ when they let them talk about TNA. Holy shit! What a shock that was.
I know, and that Table for Three, yeah, definitely.
By the way, speaking of Table for Three, I gotta ask, what's your favorite episode from that show? Because there's quite a few that I really, really liked. If I had to go with one that I go back to more often than not, the Big Show Mark Henry Kane episode. I really like that one.
I like that one a lot.
Especially the stories, especially the road stories.
Bischoff Heyman. Yeah. No, Michael Hayes. Michael Hayes,
sorry, okay.
Yep. That one, I do like the Shield one, and I like the New Day one. New Day one's fun.
I think an underrated one that I feel is more of a comic relief because of where they were and what happened. The Braun Strowman, Alexa Bliss, Ember Moon episode where they're at Applebee's and he eats all their burgers,
all their food, yeah, all their burgers.
Which I thought was perfect. And funny enough, one of those burgers, the brunch burger that they had, I had that burger before. One of the best burgers I had at a restaurant ever. It was so good. So,
I do like the Three Kings one with Sheamus, Barrett, and Regal. I like that one. You just get to hear Regal kind of talk about the business a little bit more. That's kind of cool. What else was there? Oh, the one is really annoying is the one with the three wives. Kurt Angle's wife, Rebby Sky, and Randy Orton's wife. It's like, why did you do this? Why are you here?
Yeah. And fuck off, Rebby Sky. You're a total cunt. I hate you.
There you go.
So, yeah. For those that don't know why, it's because of what she said about Ashley Massaro last year. She can go fuck herself. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I don't know how Matt Hardy puts up with her. I really, really don't.
She's gotten him in a lot of trouble, too.
That, too. Like, why stay? Why stay with her if she's done this?
Well, he's ended up having 2 kids with her, so it's not easy.
It's tough, but yeah, I'll never forget that rant video I did last year about Rebby. That was probably the most anger-induced video I think I ever made, and it was all for real. It was no over-exaggerating it. I was legit pissed. Because, I mean, look at me. I've had 2 big losses in my life, and it was tough. How dare that bitch say that? Like, even if there was past issues, for the love of God, have some human decency. Jeez.
Oh, yeah. Getting back to the discussion, Russell just said, and then we should probably do our plugs and get out of here.
Yeah.
What did y'all think of the 6-sided ring in the discussion with the TNA guys?
Oh,
Hogan
Sting
never liked it. AJ loved it. Sting didn't like it. Yeah.
I mean, I personally loved the 6-sided ring.
I did too.
Because it was unique and it gave them an identity. And on top of that, so many different ideas you could do in a 6-sided ring. The 6 sides of steel, the different variations of Ultimate X that they did over the years in the 6-sided ring. Yeah, I'll never forget when they switched back to 4-sided when Hogan came in. I was upset. Because this was during a time. This was during a time when I was watching more TNA than WWE, which I don't. Looking back at 2010 was maybe the worst year in TNA history because, good lord, so much stupid shit happened. But I was watching more TNA than WWE at the time because, well, Kurt Angle, one of my all-time favorites, and I was really liking AJ, Joe, Daniels, Sabin, Shelley, all the X Division, and the young guys who were coming through. But yeah, when they switched back to 4-side, I was not happy at all.
Yeah. They just became every other wrestling company at that point.
Exactly. It's like once Hogan, that could be an episode we could do as a whole, an episode on TNA's downfall once Hogan and company came over because, Yeah, once Hogan came in, like the only good year they had before Hogan left was 2012. 2012 was not bad. It was a pretty good year for pay-per-views. Most of the pay-per-views in 2012 were really, really good. Only for it to end in a disaster fire with aces and fucking eights. One of the worst factions of all time.
So
but anyway,
next week on the show we have SummerSlam 1995, and the week following that, ending August with SummerSlam 2002. As Levi has stated, one of his all-time favorites, if not his all-time favorite, one of the best SummerSlams in history. So we'll be checking those out. September's right around the corner. October's coming soon too. So a lot more content coming at you here at the Shadow Cult.
Exactly.
And make sure you subscribe, please, guys. We'd really appreciate that.
Yeah, we would love to be able to get to 100 subscribers before the end of the year. Currently, last time I checked, we were at 59. Mostly thanks to We Are Pro Wrestling giving us the plug leading into the episode last week we did with him for SummerSlam 93.
Yes.
But now on to
James.
Yep. But now on to the plugs. First off, you can check me out on YouTube, ThrashManiac99. So much stuff coming out right now, mostly gaming oriented. I got the Marvel Studios Cup series going, which Scott's a part of, who, shockingly enough, as of recording of the 13th race, yeah, I've gotten 13 races recorded, and like 8 of them still to upload. Scott's been doing decent in it, so there's something to it. But also I got Gary's Mod videos coming up, Tabletop Simulator. I got so many Tabletop Simulator videos, whether it's Werewolf or Red Dragon Inn, World Championship Russia Roulette. Hell, there's going to be one special hour-long episode of the game Red Flags, which I don't know if you played with us at one point, Scott. Is basically where we try and pitch together a date with a red flag. No joke, I called the episode "Pitching My Date with Zev Bellringer."
I saw that. Yeah, I saw that.
And I made the thumbnail, which I'm proud of that thumbnail. I don't know when I'm gonna post that, but yeah, like I'm basically got a bit of a schedule for the next few weeks of everything I'm doing as far as Monday, Wednesday, Fridays, the Marvel Studios Cup. Tuesdays and Thursdays is when the session of One Night Ultimate Werewolf's coming out for the next couple weeks, and then Saturday, Sunday being the Gary's Mod stuff, and then we'll see what happens afterwards. But with maybe some streams in between, some random videos in between. You can follow me on Twitter at ThrashManiac99, and you can follow me on Twitch at ThrashManiac99. Scott, take it away.
Find me on YouTube at Mr. Scott Reacts, where I do reaction videos. I'm going to be starting to do some top 10 videos on my channel very soon. I've got one lined up, going to be uploading soon. My top 10 favorite male wrestling managers. That's going to be my first one. Doing reaction videos to various other bands, various other videos out there I get to check out, videos from the Merkins, videos from different bands. Like I said, always love getting comments and getting suggestions as well. And you can also find me on Twitter and Instagram at Mr. Scott Reacts. Walter.
You can find me on Twitter at YourWaltBall, and you can find me on Instagram at smoking_Walt_by.
And
don't forget
the Necro.
And the Necro.
And don't forget, you can catch me and Mr. Scott every Monday along with our good friends Token Tom Clark, Skip Novak, Sergeant Fury, Dan Roberts for the Necrocasticon for the best in horror and metal. And check us out on your favorite podcasting outlets.
That's right.
Yep. And don't forget to subscribe to this channel for more episodes of the podcast, as well as hopefully some more gaming stuff coming on this channel, whether it's Minecraft or what have you. We're still trying to get the Minecraft stuff going. Because Scott, we had a bit of an issue with trying to get his Minecraft working in the server, but hopefully now, after we fix it one last time, we'll be able to get that series up and running, the Village City. And that's going to be massive. But yeah, and one last thing. Scott, since you did the William Regal Terry Funk thing, how would you like to end off with another William Regal speaking in Terry Funk
go for it.
thing? No, you. I can't do it.
Me? I don't know.
Just random whatever the hell comes into your brain.
Yeah, my brain's dead right now. I got to sleep.
Yeah.
I got nothing right now.
Yeah,
But what
bedtime.
I always have is the chance to tell that British stuck-up, no-good, snotty-nosed, ugly English moron what kind of a horse is Patootie. That's the English version of a jackass, you know. He actually is.
Oh my lord.
Terry Funk.
Oh, but anyways, thank you guys for watching.
Good night.
Anyways, thank
Good
you guys
night.
for watching. Horns high, and we'll see you next week.